Python has rich string formatting and printing, probably more than other languages. Let's take a look. Let's say we have ID, which is an integer, name, a string with an embedded /t, amount, which is a floating point, and a type, which is a single character string. Now we can do regular print here. Just print ID, name, amount, and type, and it displays it. But this is very plain, simple, no formatting at all. So let's see how many different ways can we format it in. Python interpreter was written in C, and it uses the same C style formatting as used in printf. Take for example in this case, we have %d, %s, %f, and %c specifying what are the types of these. This is using a string operator and providing a tuple of values which would be used in these formatting. But these are not just limited to simple type. It has type specifiers like C language. For example, in case of integer, we can say print this as a character, print integer, print this integer in decimal form, hexadecimal, upper hexadecimal, octal, unsigned. And there are even more like long integer, long double, long, that is double long integers, and so on. For floating point, we have exponential, which is E, fixed point, which is F, general, which decides whether to print it in exponential or fixed depending on the value. For strings, we can have raw strings, which will print the /t instead of expanding into tab. And there are others like printing literal %sign, pointers, and for Python objects. So now let's take a look at this one. So in this case, we are not just providing the type, we are also providing some format option, like we are saying print this in 5 spaces, and the minus means left aligned. This one says print it in 10 spaces here, but print only the first 5 characters of this string and left aligned. Third case, simple. Print this floating point number in 10 spaces, but limit the number of decimal places to 2, and the type is C. So let's see what are the format specifier. Minus means left align. 0 means left pad it with zeros. 10 means use these many spaces or width. 2 means restricted to either 2 decimal places in case of floating, but in case of string, print only the first 2 characters. Now there's a third format. This is a method of the string class and not an operator like the % we used earlier, but it continues with the format specifier set by the C style formatter. So let's take a look at this. To begin with, it looks a little confusing, but it works well. This says print this decimal in 5 spaces, but it uses some caret here, which basically means center alignment. This one says print it at 10 spaces, but print only the first 5 characters of the string and center alignment. Amount says print it in 10 spaces, print 6 decimal places, but right alignment. And finally, it says print the type as a string. So let's take a look at format placeholders and formatting. So the braces basically means replace the parameter here. We can say positional, so it can count the positional parameter. We can give it a name, so it will use named parameters. And after the parameter, we say colon, and here is the format. In the format, we can give width, precision, we can give alignment like center, left, or right. So let's take a look at some more examples. Here is blank placeholder saying print ID, name, amount, and type here. So it just goes and prints 10 Guido van Rossum, the amount, and the character here. But we can provide positional parameters. So we can say print 0 here, 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. The result is the same. But we can also change the position. So we can say print 1 first, 3 next, 2 later, and ID last. So when we do this, we can see that the ID has been printed at the end, whereas name has been printed right at the beginning because we are providing the positional parameters. This is not limited only to positional parameters. We can also have named parameters like this. So we can say, okay, print 1, which is 10.5 here, 0, which is 12 here, and then print name and type. So it will print 10.5, 12, followed by the name and the type. Let's add format specifiers here. Now we are coming back to what we kind of originally wrote. We are saying take the second parameter, which is the name, the amount, print it with 2 decimal places and using 10 spaces, center align it. Print the name, only the first 5 characters, print the ID in octal, and print the type as a string. So this time when we run this, we can see that the ID is not 10 but 12 because it's octal. The first 5 characters of the name has been printed and the amount is center aligned in 10 spaces with 2 decimal places. We can even print more complex types. For example, if I have a dictionary which contains phone number and email ID and I want to print parts of this dictionary using the format specifiers, that can be done very well. Here we go. So here is the entire thing. Let's print it. It's printing ID in 5 places, leading zeros, name only the first 5 character, amount is 10 spaces, 2 decimal places, center aligned. Now here is the interesting one. The phone number is printed from details phone. So we are saying print the details but only phone in decimal form, make it 12 digits and leading zeros if it falls short of 12. Let's go ahead and look at the final style, the fourth way of printing in Python. It's the same as dot format, but instead of giving format specifiers separately and parameters separately, now we can give the parameters right inside the string. Take a look at this. There is no dot format, there is no percent sign, there are no commas to separate it. We just have an F string. Any string which is prefixed with an F automatically becomes format string and it starts interpolating the expressions that we are giving. Now it becomes very easy to understand this. It says ID is 5 digits, center aligned, name should be right aligned in 10 spaces but print only first 5 characters of name. Amount should be center aligned in 10 spaces but only 2 decimal places, and the type should be string. Now here we are also printing the email ID. This should be email. So here we are also printing the email ID, extracting only the email part this time. And this is now the preferred style of formatting in Python.